Hey everybody, it's Mark Ruggiero here, Clark Commando 1983, and this is video number 3 of my Learn to Play After Action report of Avalon Hills Guns of August using the 4th edition rules. And what we're going to go over in this video is the August 1914 combat phase, movement and combat for the Central Powers. Next up will be, after this video, I'll do a separate video for production and replacements, and like I say, using the optional production rules included in the 4th edition, available on Board Game Geek. So what we're looking at here, and I'll zoom in here a little bit. Let's start with Serbia. Let me make an adjustment here. So the Serbian front. Okay, so what we did here with the Austrians, because of the threat of the Russians, we basically attacked this hex here, which is southeast of Belgrade. That's hex, looks like GG27. And I was able to get a 3-to-1. And that is not the right hex. I moved in the GG27. It was... Oh no, I did attack there. Sorry, my bad. Okay, I'm gonna look at my notes. So with what was defending there, I was able to get a 3-to-1, which, you know, if you want, let's look at the possible combat results. This is from my spiral bound rule book. Let's see if I can get this in here. So if you look at the 3-to-1 table there, and I rolled a 5, there were no DRMs for artillery or terrain, and that was the result of that 5 was a DX. So what happened there was the Serbians lost 5 combat factors, and the attacker had to eliminate, and I'll show you the losses here at the end of the video, had to eliminate 5 attack factors worth of units. I was able to advance into the hex, and what that does, and then with the movement of my cavalry here, this isolates Belgrade. Now what that means is, in the Allied turn, at the end of the turn, this will get marked with isolation level 1, and the next turn, isolation level 2, unless it can figure out some way to break out, and a 3. Now, because of the zone of control rules, even if the Serbians put a friendly unit here, right, that does not negate the Zox. So this will be isolated. If it gets to isolation level 3, then it will be eliminated at the end of the, basically 4 turns out, because it will get marked. If it stays isolated, so August, it would get marked 1, September 2, October 3, and then in the isolation phase of November, if it's still isolated, it will get eliminated. So that's, of course, assuming the Austria-Hungarians don't move up or something else changes. Okay, so now we'll zoom back out. And we're going to go over to the Eastern Front. And let me adjust my camera just a little bit. Sorry. And this is the Central Powers turn. So I did do limited combat there. Let's see what I did here. So we did declare war in Belgium. Did the combat in GG27. In Russia, we had 1 attack on EE13, which is this hex. And no, FF. Damn it, I wrote down the wrong hex. Sorry. FF 12, actually. Damn it, Mark. Got cancer. Gotta write down right hexes, damn it. That's what I get for, I did these at like 3 in the morning. So there again, it was a 2-to-1, which is, you know, fairly risky attack. I tried to be kind of conservative, and if you remember, the Russians had to set up first. So let's make sure. So the odds were 2-to-1. I rolled a 3. This is a both demoralized, and so defender has to first. What a both demoralized is both sides suffer a D result, which is you either eliminate your strongest unit in the hex or in the attack, or you have to retreat. And if you retreat, then you get marked demoralized. Otherwise, you just take the loss. But if you note, the Russians really had no choice because they couldn't retreat here because of the Zoc. There again, friendly units don't negate. And here, that would have eliminated the whole stack. So I did eliminate, that was a stack of 334 cavalry. So I lost the cavalry, and the Germans lost a 574 unit. I'll show you the losses. By the way, the attack I did in Serbia cost the Serbians a 243 and a 114 cav, and it cost the Austro-Hungarians a 334 cav and an artillery unit. So a 2-factor artillery unit, which was kind of expensive, but otherwise I would have had to lose 2 corps, and I don't know, I didn't feel like that was worth it. So that ended the combat. The only advance that happened was in Serbia. There was some minimal movement to prepare for the Russian onslaught in their turn. So now we'll go back and zoom out, and we'll go over to the Western Front. Now this is interesting because if you remember, and I want to make a note, I'm doing, let's see, I'm zoom in here. I am doing a couple of optional rules. And one of them is the extra, the central powers, if they're not adjacent, get an extra move in a combat. So let's walk through what my initial attacks were, and then I will go over the results and whatnot. So this was for the initial attacks in August. So we attacked Liège in Belgium. We were able to get a 3-to-1, and Liège is this hex right here now. And we were able to get a 3-to-1. There's a fortress, which is a -2, but I had both siege artillery, which is +2, plus they count for the 6 factors, so +3, so net DRM was a +1. And I got lucky, and I rolled a 6, which on the 3-to-1 table, which is what I had for odds, you'll see, come on, let's get into focus there, buddy. That's terrible, isn't it? I don't know why it won't focus. Well, defender eliminated. So, the Belgians lost 2, 3, 5, 4 corps, or 3, 5, 3 corps, and I was able to advance. Now, a couple rules notes here. Artillery, which is combat support, cannot advance after combat. Just like they cannot retreat. Now in the 4th edition rules, it specifies do not retreat, but it does specify that the only combat units and artillery as combat support can advance after combat. So I wanted to note that, just so you don't forget. So I had to leave the artillery behind. Of course, we did the second movement because they weren't adjacent at the time. And I'll go over that, but they were able to move up the artillery and whatnot. Also, in the second movement, moved the railhead, so now the German railhead extends into Liège. Okay, so also in France, we attacked hex L12, which was a pretty interesting attack, which is, I'm trying to do this without bumping my camera, which is this hex right here. So the initial attacks there was a 2-to-1. And my result there was I rolled a 3, which is both demoralized. And did I do that right? No. Sorry. I rolled a 6. Gotta make sure I look at the right combat. So it was a 2-to-1 on L12, or it was a 2-to-1. I rolled a 6 with a +1 DRM, which doesn't matter in this case, and which resulted in defender exchange. So the French lost 3 4.64 cores and a 3.33 artillery support, and the Germans lost an artillery and 3 5.74s. Now with that left at the end of the combat, and I'll show you the total losses, but basically now with the optional rule, I had German units that were back here and back here that were not adjacent to enemy units. So those units can now move and attack. Now that's an optional rule. I'm using it because if you remember in the old general article, talked about a movement phase, and turns out that actually this rule I think should have been included in the game. So I moved up, as you can see, and the only attacks that I want, the only attack that I did 2 attacks. I attacked with the second combat phase. I attacked Antwerp, which at that point was able to get a 4-to-1. There were no die roll modifiers there again because there was a -2 for the fort, but I had a +1 because I was able to get my little bit faster siege artillery up there, and the 6 factors of artillery gives me another +1, so that made a net DRM of 0. And I rolled a 3, which turns into a defender demoralized. So by the skin of their teeth, Belgium holds on to Liege, or Antwerp, with the 114 cavalry, so that's going to give the French in their turn a chance to move up. And there may be some attacks going on. Well, there's going to be some attacks happening with the Entente player and the French, and of course the Belgium or the Brits will come over. But the other attack that I was able to do in the bonus move combat was, let's make sure I get the hex right, because cancer is really messing with me. We attacked this hex, and that's K12, just north of Verdun. We were able to get a 2-to-1, which, 2-to-1, if you look, it's a fairly risky attack. And it's a clear, no terrain. So I had 6 factors of artillery, so I was able to get a +1. But if you look, your attacks, even at 4-to-1, aren't that great. Let's unzoom and see if that helps with the, there we go. Okay, so 2-to-1, do you see that? But, it is what, even at 4-to-1, it's tough CRT table. So anyways, I rolled a dreaded 1, which was an attacker demoralized, 2-to-1, because I had a +1. So, wait, did I do that? I did that wrong, didn't I? Oh my goodness. No, it's a 3-to-1. I was able to get a 3-to-1. Okay, so we're good. Attacker demoralized. Oh, let's see here. Darn it. Okay, no. It was a 2-to-1. I rolled a 1 with a +1 is a 1. Attacker demoralized. And shoot, I wonder. Did I do my attack on Antwerp correctly? 3, no modifiers. Oops, 4-to-1. Okay, a DD, that's correct. Okay, I did it right. Okay. So anyways, so K12, I got an attacker demoralized, so I killed a 574, stayed in place. The French, they'll be able to get some troops in Verdun, so not a big deal. I guess I did kind of gamble leaving it open. So let's take a quick look at the losses, and we'll go over that, and then I'll end the video. The next video up will be the end of my central powers turn. I'll go over replacements and then the optional production rules that I'm using. So let's see here. Let's see if we can do this right. We're gonna do this. And then we're gonna zoom in just a hair. And so the net losses for the central power half of the turn were the Austro-Hungarians lost 2-factor artillery, 3-factor cav. Of course, the onslaught of the Russians is coming. Serbs lost a 114 cav and a 243 infantry corps. Belgrade is surrounded. The Russians so far have just lost a cavalry unit. Over here on the Western Front, Belgium lost 3 353 infantry corps. French lost 3 464 infantry corps. They're going to have to do Plan 17. So that will be this is my third video. So it'll be my fifth video. It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do. And in artillery, and the German losses on both the East and West Front were 5 574 corps and an artillery. So the bloodbath has started. That is World War I. So next up is going to be replacements and productions for the central powers. That'll be a separate video. One other note that I wanted to note is I am using the optional big push attacks. And the reason I wasn't able to actually, so that's where, as long as I don't suffer an attacker attrition, attacker eliminated, or attacker demoralized, I can continue to do combats against the hex. But the hex has to start with the turn containing 3 defending units. So that's why I couldn't do a big push attack to finish off Antwerp. So anyways, that being said, thank you so much for joining me. And this is Mark signing off. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.